Caitlin Clark for over 3-pointers made for minus 200. Never mind. Come and get some of Jeremiah Love. Angel Reese over 14.5 offensive rebounds. Everyone is fine around, and my name is Jordan, and we have a huge slate for Wednesday. I spent a ton of time just looking at these lines, and it's reminding me of looking at NBA lines, even though this would be considered like a medium slate for NBA. But I did come up with a few plays. Sorry, I don't have like 10 of them. If you would like to discuss those lines, I have a Discord. Link is in the description. There will be conversation going on about all of the lines there for what other people like. These are just a few plays that I like. So let's jump into it. You will see images that come up on the screen. Those will be from a data app called Outlier. There's a link in the description that'll give you a 7-day free trial for Outlier. This first pick is going to be Marina Mabrey of the Connecticut Sun over 13.5 points at minus 125. She's going up against the Indiana Fever, who are giving up the third most points since the Olympic break. Mabrey started off in the lineup. She was in the starting lineup. It went well the very first game, but then she started taking a bunch of shots. It was throwing other teammates off. But when she started to play against the Sky, she came off the bench, and she's kind of settled into this role where she's coming off the bench, but she's a leading scorer for the Sun for the past 2 games. So if she maintains this role, I think it's a really good fit for them to continue the defensive prowess that they had, and then bring her off the bench as an offensive boost. It can make the Sun very dangerous. Past 2 games coming off the bench, she scored 24 against her old team, the Sky, and then she scored 15 in a tough matchup. So I do like her to get 14 plus points here in a good matchup against the Indiana Fever. And this next play is going to be Brittney Sykes of the Washington Mystics over 16.5 points at minus 114. So she'll be facing off against the Sky. And at first I was like, oh, Kennedy Carter's pretty good defensive guard. I don't really want to mess with Sykes. But then I looked at the injury report, and Kennedy Carter's out with COVID-19. So that opens up a lot for this game in general. When Kennedy Carter was out for 1 game, the Sky were kind of a mess. They didn't really have anyone to initiate the offense. Angel Reese took a bunch of shots. She did okay, but they didn't really have anyone who could create their own shot and get the offense going. So it was pretty tough for them. They ended up losing by 20 points to the Mercury. And then on the other side of things, the Washington Mystics are going to be missing Shakira Austin. She got injured in the last game, so that's going to open up opportunities for Stephanie Dolson. So this is going to be a pretty sloppy game, I feel like, but Brittney Sykes is a scorer. She does well with assists and rebounds, but where they have the lines at, I don't like adding it to the points. So you're looking at the graph. If you haven't been paying attention to WNBA, you're probably looking at that and saying, well, there's a lot of red on that. So Brittney Sykes had an injury. She came back after the Olympic break. She had a minutes restriction, and then she broke out of that minutes restriction for the past few games. And the first game, she was kind of cold, but then the next 2 games, she really took off in some good matchups. And the Chicago Sky are actually giving up the 4th most points coming out of the break, and without Kennedy Carter. Good matchup here for Brittney Sykes. In those last 2 games, scored 28 points against a bad team, and then she scored 20 points against a strong Seattle team when they just had Gabby Williams return. Went back to that game where Kennedy Carter wasn't there to see how the guards scored, and Clea Copper dropped 29 points on them. Brittney Sykes is not Clea Copper when it comes to scoring, but Brittney Sykes is an aggressive shooter. She's a great player, and she's going to be taking 15 plus shots, 15 to 20 shots in this game, and that's all it's going to take to get over this line. So if you guys could, please like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, if you have a little bit of extra time, could you leave a comment for the algorithm? Tell me what you like. There are a ton of lines to choose from. If I see a comment with a play that I kind of missed and overlooked, and I think it's a good play, I'll pin it to the top of the video. So put the plays that you like, and also if you like to try out a sports book and you haven't tried one out yet, these ones on the screen, I have links in the description that'll take you there for their current promos. Thank you to anyone who uses those links. So his next pick is going to be Courtney Williams of the Minnesota Lynx over 10.5 points at -120. I know I'm taking a lot of points props, but I just feel like these were some good plays. Obviously, Napheesa Collier is on an offensive tear right now. She's going to demand a lot of attention. They're going up against the Phoenix Mercury, who give up the 9th most points on the season. But coming out of the break, they're actually giving up the 4th least points. I don't know if that's just the matchups that they've had because of the small sample size. They've gone up against, teams that don't score much. But historically this season, they have given up a lot of points. So Napheesa Collier is a good pick. And if you check out her rebounds history, I would be picking her if she had rebounded well lately. I know she had one really big game, but her rebounds against Phoenix are double digits, but they bumped that rebound line up to 10.5. But she's been scoring well. So that's Napheesa Collier. I was looking at points plus rebounds. But for Courtney Williams, probably going to get overlooked. Everyone's going to be on Napheesa Collier. Courtney Williams has gone over 2 out of 3 games against the Mercury this season. And she's been very aggressive coming out of the break, going over this 4 out of 5 games and shooting 54% on 12 attempts. When you watch her play, she takes it off the dribble. She'll take a mid-range shot and she knocks it down or get some layups. She's always attacking the basket. She doesn't settle for 3-point shots. I think a lot of that is just Napheesa Collier's success is just opening things up for her teammates. So yes, you could look at someone like Bridget Carlton, who has some really good games, but then she'll have games where she doesn't score much at all. So going with the more consistent scorer here, I know they put it at 10.5 because she makes a lot of 2-point shots, and they want her to hook right there at 10. But I do like the matchup here for Courtney Williams. I like the aggressiveness, and the Minnesota Lynx are going to need more than Napheesa Collier to score in order to win, and Courtney Williams has been filling that void along with some other teammates. So before I get into this last one, I want to shout out my partners who are Pick'em apps. If you'd like to get away from Prizepicks, check out Underdog Fantasy, Sleeper, ParlayPlay, or ChalkBoard. Use promo code FINDAROUND11 on any of these. They'll match your first deposit up to $100. Underdog's doing up to $1,000. So there are links in the description that'll take you straight there with the promo code. And thank you to anyone who uses those. In this final pick, I'm taking Banna Stewart over 23.5 points plus assist at -112. She's going up against the LA Sparks, who this is the matchup that she had coming out of the Olympic break, where she scored 27 points in 20 minutes, and it was like a 40-point blowout, and everyone sat. Obviously, the Liberty had a lot of players in the Olympics. The Sparks did not, and they kind of caught them off guard. But with that said, the Sparks they give up a lot of points to other teams. So Banna Stewart has gone over this in 4 out of 6 games since the break. She has actually been passing the ball very well. Her rebounds are up and down and pretty inconsistent, so that's why I'm not adding it here. But the Sparks are giving up the 2nd most points and the 2nd most assists overall to teams. So I do like Banna Stewart to score and pass for scoring in a very high scoring game. Hopefully the Sparks can keep it somewhat competitive this time around, so Banna Stewart can stay on the floor for a little bit longer. It was pretty much her that went over in that game, and everyone else went under. I know a lot of people are going to be looking at the other side of things, looking at Rickea Jackson. She's probably going to be a popular pick. But I don't know. She's been on fire right now, and law of averages, she's going to have a bad game eventually, and the Liberty are pretty tough against bigs with Jonquel Jones and Banna Stewart. So I'm not saying don't take Rickea Jackson's over. I'm just saying don't be surprised. So those are my 4 picks that I found. There was also the Seattle and Atlanta game that I stayed away from. Both of those teams have been playing great defense as of late. So you could definitely look at some rebound type props. And Alicia Gray, I don't know how she's feeling after that injury. And Gabby Williams still getting into the fold with Seattle. I don't know how things are going to go there with scoring, but my prediction prediction about Skylar Diggins-Smith was correct, that Gabby Williams' volume would suck up Skylar Diggins-Smith's volume, and Skylar Diggins would probably go over assist, and she did end up going over assist. So we'll see how that shakes out more. And with Atlanta, we'll see, who can be the primary scorer with Alicia Gray getting hit in the head. I don't know, how bad it was. It was enough for her to miss the rest of that game. So as I mentioned, there's a Discord. Link is in the description. It's free for discussion about more lines. And as far as the recap goes, I had Natasha Cloud under 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And I'm proud of her. She was shooting like 30% over the past 5 games, and she broke out of that. And law of averages was going to hit at some point. I didn't think it'd be against the Liberty, but it was against the Liberty. She scored very well, and they just kept giving her the ball. She ended up going over assists. She ended up going over her rebounds. She had a very great game. So it's just, I think she watches this channel. I don't know what it is. Alicia Gray over 16.5 points. This one went under. She had 12 points. In the middle of the third, she gets elbowed in the head and ends up leaving and not playing the rest of the game. Plays 22 minutes and scores 12 points. She was probably going to clear this line pretty easily. And even when she was playing, she missed some wide open layups. And I mean like wide open. So she probably could have hit this way before she even got hurt. But I think she definitely would have gone over. But a miss is a miss. And then I had Gumake over 7.5 rebounds. She had 7 at halftime and cleared that very easily. And then Kelsey Mitchell over 19.5 points. She scored 27, I think. I don't know the exact number. I would take Kelsey Mitchell up against Connecticut, but they are very good defensively. I'm going to fade her on that game just because Connecticut has really shut down the Fever. So I'm not sure what that game's going to quite look like. So it ended up being 2 out of 4 that were correct. Probably should have been 3 out of 1, but it happens. Injuries happen, and it sucks. So I'm going to get this edited, get it out to you. God bless you all. It's fun around. My name is Jordan. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.